Hello and welcome back to the Eagle Eye Picker. We are on our way through another estate sale today. This is a little bit smaller house in a very nice neighborhood. Let's take a look inside. Immediately I see items on my left, two huge Christmas decorations. I'm tapping on them to see if they're plastic. They are, and this huge cabinet full of small items, collectibles, pieces of crystal, things that the family valued. Then I move down the hallway to the right, and then I find a bin full of $1 million worth of Beanie Babies. Those things are big. It's a big story behind all those Beanie Babies. There's more there. Up on the top there was an American Girl doll. There was also a Cabbage Patch that I looked at this. I was thrown off by the Eddie Bauer. Thrown off by the Eddie Bauer hanger. As I get further in the sale, I realize it's actually an outfit for a Teddy Ruxpin, which we'll see later on. I'm looking through this bag full of sewing supplies. I always look through sewing supplies when I can find it. This is I've found sterling silver measuring devices. Sterling silver thimbles are also not that uncommon to find. There's a paper shredder, some books down in a drawer, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if they were displaying them there, but I don't typically find books in a drawer like that. And there was some more in this top. I'm going to run through this estate sale a little bit quicker when I go through the first time. I do a quick overview, make sure I don't pick up anything that I should put in my bag immediately. Especially there, as more people were coming into this estate sale, and you'll see further in the house there were many people, as you can see down the hallway there. I'll take a quick look to my right as I head out to the garage. And then I move on, start looking at the shelves in the garage. There's some new items, some yard tools, and then I see there's a lot of stuff in here. These racks of books. Now here, this book I end up buying, it's actually signed by a former vice president, Spiro Agnew. And the funny thing is, I just picked it up because I saw the writing and some clippings inside. I had no idea it was autographed until I got it home. So that was a lucky find. You see a $4 price tag for hardback books up the top, but I did a bundle and I bought everything that I picked up today, including this Bible, mint condition, presented to a veteran in that box. I picked up everything today for $12. So you'll see what all I pick up along the way. There's an assortment of dishes and items out here. I go through them very careful. I'm curious about things. That's one of those dominoes, Mexican train games with a little centerpiece. Over to the left, there's some bins, some Christmas items in there, and some tins on this other plastic tray. I'm walking back around. I'm thinking about that book, because that's kind of the era and the look and feel of the books that I tend to find up that I see that sell well, ones that are political, things of that nature. Next, I'm looking through these shelves. I come across this bin. It doesn't look like this bin has been really opened much, so I figure I might be the first one who's picking through there today. That is a rifle cleaning kit. So as I decide to take the lid off, I see a few things that might be interesting. I noticed some golf balls in there, for example. There seems to be some personal stuff mixed into there, which surprises me. Usually they get rid of that before an estate sale. Here's some of the golf balls that I did find. Here's a Washington Redskins vintage, I guess, because the team changed their name. I actually do pick that up. And also 2 other packages of balls out of this box. Some Titleist and some Callaways. You can see those there. And I do grab all of those. Then I do a quick shuffle through, make sure I don't miss anything. Then I look on the shelves and move on to other parts of the garage. Look through this bag of miscellaneous hardware, and then I see this ball. What caught my eye is, as I was putting it back, it had Major League on it, and it does have Major League. So that was pretty cool. May have been called in some game, but there was no signature on it. The bookshelf was double-sided, so you can see books from both sides, as you can tell. There was a lot. I do want to get through this estate sale though and look over everything, so I actually come back and go through the estate sale once I've made my first pass. This bin down here at the bottom is another incredible item. I come back later thinking it's all Christmas stuff, and then I find all of these pins in a Ziploc bag in the bottom of that container. So even when you see something that's obviously full of Christmas stuff and everything's price tagged, it pays to dig down a little bit and look around and make sure it's, you know, Christmas stuff all the way down to the bottom. I do this in all the boxes there. And here you can start seeing more Christmas items displayed that they put out on the table, as well as some Halloween decorations. This hat caught my eye. I couldn't tell if it was felt or not, or if it was a display piece. I'm always looking for magic hats. I always do very well reselling those. These were just decoration hats. And then I just looked through the Christmas again. I'm just trying to get an idea if there's any department stuff in there, what they priced the ornaments at, the different brands they have, the age of them, things like that. Now I'm looking through the shelf, wondering, you know, I always try to look out for Leatherman kind of utensils, gardening utensils. A lot of people don't realize it, but Cutco actually makes garden tools. Now I'm working my way out of the garage, going to go back to the house. Again, this is the main hallway. Off to the left, this is the washroom room, and I'm looking and I'm seeing some very interesting, like, branded stuff here. But after a moment I realize, and all up above is just probably the largest wardrobe of animal outfits that I think I've probably ever seen. So that's what those were. And there's plenty of bowls on the floor for dogs and cats. Apparently they had some pets in this house. Now I'm going to make my way through to the kitchen. This is the opener area. This is, as you can see, the cashier is there, and this is the table across from her that they have items that they believe of higher value. You'll see cameras, binoculars, other items, electronics. There's an older vintage camera. That of course is binoculars in that box. And I pick up some other items and look them over. There's a flash there. This knife catches my eye. It's very reminiscent of a buck knife, but it's way too big. It's bigger than one I've ever seen before. So of course I take a few minutes to look at it. I make sure it's not a buck or branded knife, and it's not. It's a made overseas kind of knockoff, but really good quality. It felt solid. And then I'm going to continue, and I continue to look around on this table. There's some Cabbage Patch puff decals are sticky back there. There's other ornaments that are metal, some other metals, some pins and stuff. I checked a couple of them, shapes I've never seen before, trying to see where they're made or if they have the metal that they're made of engraved in stamped in the bottom. And these are Cabbage Patch pins. Those are vintage, but they don't really resell for very much, even new old stock like that. There's some Leftover beverages, I guess they try to sell those. I've seen a couple of them recently, but I go stretches where I don't see that kind of stuff at all out at estate sales. Finding those golf balls in the garage made me think to look through this closet and through this stack of hand towels. Often I can find in a golfer's home the hand towels, the sweat towels, golf club cleaning towels. Now I look at these silk. I'm trying to get more into these scarves. Some are very expensive. There's a bandana. I know some USA brands of that particular Western kind of design can be quite valuable. This one's made in China version. But I'm trying to learn more about these so I could pick them up. They're really super easy to list and ship, as you can tell, and some of them are quite expensive. Some pretty nice knitted, handmade items here on the bed as well. Those crocheted blankets have really gone up in value lately. Looking on the countertop, I love to find new old stock items. Perfume, that was opened. I think that was Obsession. I find another little small perfume bottle. Yeah, right there, that was also Obsession. It was marked up a little bit, but it was kind of neat to see. Again, I'm looking for anything that is discontinued that people still want to use and that people still buy. I looked through these. These are brush kits. I was talking to a friend of mine, a lady friend, and I was asking her, would people really use pre-owned brushes? And it's not very likely unless they're very expensive ones and they would clean them. But that's kind of something that I've never picked up but never thought to, and I was always curious why people put them out for sale if it's kind of a personal item that someone rubs on their skin. So I look through the drawers. I'm trying to find new old stock items, anything that sticks out to me. Then again, all those makeups are opened and used and probably have leftover product in them. I see a little pocket knife here, no particular brand. Some miscellaneous stuff's in the drawers. Taking a look around in the shower, then I come into the closet. It's a big L-shaped closet. There's a big hallway here on the left. There's a couple fur vests down there. A lot of lady clothes. It was actually all lady clothes, and there was a couple ladies on the right side that were taking up a lot of space, and I don't really look at that. I don't really resell a lot of ladies' clothes, so I got out of there. And then come across these wallets. I like to look through these wallets. I can find good brands of these to resell, and nice leather ones are actually quite sellable. I make my way around the room. Here's some more books and some CDs in this entertainment center. If you see anything in there I should have picked up or throughout this video, please let me know. Don't caught me eye on the end. I thought it looked like a vintage, PC kind of disc game. It was, but it was of low value. I think it was on a CD. The game was on a CD. I do open the drawers, and I was surprised to find things in them because a lot of stuff was laid out on the bed. There wasn't much in there. It's usually stuff they leave in there are onesie-twosie items that are different, or socks and underwear kind of stuff is usually what remains behind. The bottom drawer there did have a few sweaters. So I'm looking at the end table, see anything of interest there. I don't really see much. The price of that furniture here was quite expensive, actually, I thought, for an estate sale. But again, this was day one, and actually this was on a Good Friday. You can see they're full of socks there, which I was surprised. We didn't have a whole lot of estate sales around my area on Good Friday. But as I was speaking to the cashier on the way out, they're actually going to be 25% off on Saturday, and we're going to be open on Easter Sunday at 50% off. I didn't make it back to this sale. Daddy Rupskin and the Cabbage Patch. I'm sure I butchered his name, but I think from looking at that suit further, I'm pretty sure that's what it was an outfit for that Teddy Ruxpin. Now I'm looking around the kitchen. It's pretty nice. I'm always looking out for particular coffee cups and some glasses. I'm also on the lookout for all the usual staples. If I find a nice piece of Pyrex, Cutco knives, Corningware I don't see very frequently, things like that. Drawers full of knickknacks. I always go through those. I'm gonna look for pens, pocket knives, flashlights, things like that, which I find frequently in those kind of drawers. They had all these small appliances up on the top, which was pretty nice to have them out and displayed. And a few knickknacks on the shelf. There's a flask, and above there some leftover vitamins, I guess. There are some people in this corner, so I'm trying to, make sure I cover the area pretty well. So I, trying to be respectful of other people's space. There's a lot of neat little items here. I spot this bell. It looks silver. It was definitely silver plated, but I didn't see any markings for 925 or indications that it was silver, but it was still very nice. Several decor pieces, can opening devices. Here's a bunch of coffee flasks, as you can see. Some of those can have good resale value. I'm really trying to learn more about pots and pans. I see some that are copper and some brands that I'm trying to learn. There's some Corningware. I'm looking in this silverware drawer. It was nice to see it was fully stocked. Now I'm looking into the side pocket, and something sticks out to me. It was a golf club. I recognize it immediately. I've sold these before. These are sterling silver plated swizzle sticks that are shaped like golf clubs. There's a putter, a wedge, and a driver in a set. I find too, I'm looking for the third one that goes in the set. And I'm looking to the other side, and yeah, they're very heavy, so they're sitting at the bottom. And I find not only the third one for the first set, but a complete additional set. So a total of 6 for 2 sets. I actually listed those on eBay and already have an offer for $30 for those. Uh-oh.
Let me teach you something.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna create one.
That's awesome.
Isn't it?
I'm continuing to look around. Some utensils, the vintage ones and spoons can be actually very resellable. I know some people that have a bulk of what they sell is the spoons and spatulas and stuff, because it's something that's frequently overlooked and people just walk by it, and they're continuing to make $10 or $15 a piece on these, selling them by the dozens. Looking at the glasses some more, making sure I don't miss anything. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, this is one of the companies that I go to their estate sales a lot. People who run them and the cashiers. And is there another bathroom? Is that the only bedroom? That's the only one? They're friendly and nice, and they know me, and they know that I'm there to work with them. I got a little perplexed here for a moment, because I'm wondering, I went into the first bedroom on the right. It seemed like an office in that master bedroom, but I didn't see any other bedrooms. And I was asking her if that's all, and she just confirmed that, yeah, that was it. It's just a 2-bedroom home. Now I'm going through this table I passed by on the way in. I figured most people had already looked at it already. Anything impulsively they wanted to buy, they're probably picked up. But I want to make sure I look at everything on here, I don't miss anything. This intrigues me. It's a piece of petrified wood, but they have it marked up pretty well. I think that one was $30. And then this bigger piece is $60. I didn't realize petrified wood would bring that much. And then look at this picture. This will do it for this estate sale. Hope you enjoyed this. If you leave a comment and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it.